So, welcome everybody. We're going to get started. This is an interactive session, as the description of the program said. So, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss identity challenges that cannot be solved using existing technology today. And you'll hear what keeps your peers up at night, because we're going to share some of that with each other. And what you're sharing with us will help shape the government's research and development agenda, specifically in identity management. So to start us off, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Kaliya Young. I'm also known as Identity Woman. And I'm working with my colleague Bill All, who's also with me in the firm Unconference.net. And we have Maria Vachino, who works for DHS, or John Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, along with Carlton, who's at the back, and also Lucienne, who's from SRI. And we all work for Anil John, and you can read that long description, but he's the head of the Identity and Privacy Research Portfolio at DHS S&T. So here's our agenda for our time together. The first thing we're going to do is have quick introductions and learn a little bit about who you are. Then we're going to invite you to reflect on identity management challenges that you have. You're going to get to share them with others in the room. And then we're going to ask you to share with us what the challenge that you brought up and talked with others about, so we know and we can help inform Anil and the research agenda. And that's what we're going to do. So, and one of the things you should know about me is I run an interactive event called the Internet Identity Workshop. So this is actually shifting out of like presentation mode into sharing and interaction. So the first thing I'd like to do is invite you all to stand up and move closer. We're going to eventually be in groups of 4, so if you can cluster, that would be great. So those of you at the back, stand up, move closer, please. You can stay near the aisles. They're all leaving. They don't want to share. Okay, we're going to start with introductions. I would like you to share with us your name and where you're from.
My name is Kurunji Karupaya. I work for Hewlett-Packard Enterprise.
Jeff Hensey from Shelter Insurance in Columbia, Missouri.
My name's Jim. I'm from Abercrombie & Fitch.
I'm Lionel Zan from Huawei.
My name is Yang from China.
My name is Yannick from EY Belgium.
Sandra from CIBC in Canada.
I'm Marty from USAA in San Antonio.
I'm Doris from USAA in San Antonio, Texas.
Dan Palmer, Lockheed Martin from Orlando, Florida.
I'm Jeffrey Harris from Aetna Life Insurance Company.
Cool. Great. Thank you. Okay, so next, I would like, so can we have, so there seems like there's a good group here. This is 4 folks. You're a group of 3. You're a group of, let's have you in, how about you? Welcome. Can you come and join these 2 folks up here, and we can be a group of 3 up here? Okay. That's good. That's perfect. Thank you. Okay, so now here's your chance to think about your challenge. So I would like you to either close your eyes or just lower your focus. Yes, this is what we're going to do. You can use your spinner if you want. Definitely. Okay. And I'd like you to think about the most challenging enterprise level issue that you faced in identity management in the past year? What's the hardest thing that's come up? What are you still struggling with that you actually haven't solved yet? What's that really hard thing? What does it involve? What types of identities? Is it people, things, organizations? What are the underlying issues? There's a surface level problem, but when you unpack it, what's next? How are you addressing the problem? Are there workarounds? Is currently available technology insufficient? Is there a lack of standards or a failure of standards in some way? Are there policy or legal constraints? Would a solution cost too much? What would you need to fully address this problem? What is really at the core of this enterprise level challenge that you have faced in identity management in the past year? Okay. Open your eyes. So now what we're going to do is actually share in groups of 3 or 4. So we're going to have 20 minutes to do that. So you're each going to hear from each other what the challenges are, and the facilitation team is going to join your groups and listen as well. So if you guys can be a group, and maybe Lucien, you can come up here, and you guys can be a group. Do you want to come up here, Maria? And you can, these two fine gentlemen who just joined us, you are sharing your biggest enterprise identity management challenge that you've had this year. You can do it, I know you can. Are you gonna go? Yes, yes, Bill, up there. Can you? Yeah, okay. Okay, fantastic. And then how about Carlton, you sit with these folks? Okay, so I'm going to keep time. So you're each going to have about 4 minutes, maybe 5. Because there's 2 groups of 4 and 1 group of 3. And then what I'd like you to do as you're listening to the stories that other folks are sharing is to identify 3 key themes. So the first thing you're going to do is you're each going to have a chance to share your challenges. And then at the end of the sharing, I'm going to invite your group to identify key themes that were common among all of your challenges and share them with us. So are there any questions before we do this? Huh? No, it's not. Bill's going to take some notes. Each group's going to have some notes taken, and we're going to invite you to share what you'd like with us afterwards. Cool. Okay, so start. One of you begin, and I'll keep time. Okay. Can I have your attention, please? So now I'd like each group to take the next little bit and actually identify some key themes that were common amongst the stories that you heard. So we'll take another 4 minutes to do that. So I gave you Post-it notes, and some pens, but talk like you. Each of you don't do it. Talk amongst yourselves and pick 3 themes that were common amongst the stories in your group. You got 2. Okay, that's good enough. So can I have your attention again? So thank you for doing that work of identifying those key themes, and we'll hear about them in a minute. Not a minute, but in a few minutes. The next thing I'd like you to do is actually help us by writing down your challenge and answering a few questions about it. So each group has, I'll move the slide forward, that's always important. So you have a choice. You have paper and pens, and you can do that. Or if you have a device and you want to fill out the exact same survey online, you can do that. So right now, we're going to take the next 10 minutes, if that's how long it takes. We'd like you to write it down for us in as much detail as possible. And then answer some questions about it. Tell us a little bit about who you are so we know where this challenge lives. And if you want us to connect with you later and follow up, you'll be able to signal that to us too. So as folks are wrapping up, I want to come and hear from each group about what the key themes you identified that your stories, your challenges had in common.
Okay, sorry. Okay, the 3 themes were management engagement, cost, which is really the total cost of ownership of the overall solution, and disparate sources of truth because of international entities.
Great. And let's hear from this group.
We didn't really discuss it, so this is just what I wrote down. 1, it's hard. 2, provisioning and deprovisioning. And 3, duct tape solutions versus systemic solutions.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. This group.
Okay. So what we identified were standards across cloud platforms, or just platforms in general, and then resource constraints.
Thank you. And then this group.
I guess that's me. So we talked about legacy, both systems and thinking. And to follow up on that is sort of a education, evangelization across the enterprise, both for business cases and end users to build up a different way of thinking. So those two are a little bit related. Let's talk about federation, particularly if the partners you want to federate their users don't care about you, or at least don't have that as a priority to work with that.
Cool. Great. Yeah, a few nods. Cool. Thank you so much. So, that was what we had for you to do today. So, we just did this. We shared 3 themes. And, this is our contact information. So if you want to be in touch with us, you can either email me. I'm Kaliya at Identity Woman, or you can email Maria, who is Maria Vachino at jhuapl.edu. So we would love to hear from you more if you have challenges that, more than this challenge that you shared with us and bigger problems are part of our job, and why we are working with Anil is to actually proactively listen to industry and identify challenges that aren't being addressed so that research dollars can be put into them. So please, and you can come up and get our cards, and please be in touch. So thank you very much. You can all go enjoy the keynote.